Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Delhi Township Board of Trustees meeting for April the 9th of 2025. We will begin the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the moment of silence. Tonight's moment of silence is very dear to us. Tonight's moment of silence is for Joanne Braun, born December the 12th of 1941, with 3 siblings, and she also had 3 children. She was a devoted mother, and she also had 10 grands, and still counting them, great-grands. She was unbelievable, hardworking ethic and nature, and she passed these strong values on to her family. We know that Joanne will be missed, but we would like to thank her and let her know how much we've appreciated the fact that she lent to us her 2 sons, Kevin, who is now a retired lieutenant from our Delhi Township Fire Department, and our own Jeff Braun, Chief of Delhi Township Police Department. So we mourn with the family, and we thank Joanne for lending us the two boys. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. All right, then. Approval of the minutes for the meeting of March the 26th.
Motion to approve minutes from regular meeting on March 26, 2025.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion approved.
Motion to approve overtime for pay period ending April 1st, 2025.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion approved.
Motion to approve bills for payment.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Yes.
Motion approved. Report from our fiscal officer, Mr. Luby.
As far as significant transactions since our last meeting, we did pay out $12,700 for our new water lines for our dog park. We had $17,000 for computers and the door security project here at DTS, $15,000 for some engineering over on Clemmy. Our payroll on 3/27 was $415,000. That was a little higher than usual due to some retirement payouts for comp, sick, and vacation time. As far as deposits, we did receive $25,000 and $65,000 for EMS reimbursements and $24,000 for rentals between DTS, Senior Center, and the parks. That's all I have.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Luby. Did you have anything else? Any other correspondence? I'm sorry, Jim.
No, I do not.
Okay. All right. Trustees correspondent, Trustee Davis.
Not at this time. That I'm sure that probably you won't address. If not, we'll save the time for our presentations.
All right. Trustee Sturts.
Yes, I wanted to, we received an email from a resident whose father was helped by our fire department. And I'll quote exactly what she said. I wanted to take a moment to express my sincere gratitude to your department and the officers who responded to a call involving my father. Your officers remained calm, composed, and respected. They handled the situation with remarkable restraint, focusing on ensuring a peaceful resolution. I truly want to share this publicly as a testament to the positive impact of good policing. But since I was unable to do so on social media, I wanted to make sure your department at least knew how much their efforts meant. Your officers exemplified what it means to serve with integrity, and for that, I am deeply appreciative. Thank you for fostering a department that prioritizes professionalism and compassion. Please extend my gratitude to the officers involved. So, of course, we love to hear that. We know how good they are, but we also love when the residents recognize it and we get the feedback that they truly are performing professionally. So thank you for that.
That's great. Thank
Trustee
you.
Sturts, did she say she wasn't able to put public comment onto our?
That's what it said. No, not on ours, just on social media. So I don't know what she meant by that.
Okay.
But anyway.
Do allow comments on ours, correct? Okay.
Yes. Yes. All right. We do have a very special presentation this evening. I know that some of you are aware that we are local government and our connection goes to the Ohio government as well as to the federal government. And we have had the privilege of having the Honorable William Seitz be our representative for, I believe it's 24 years. And we want to take this opportunity to thank Bill because he has kept us up to date on many changes and many things coming down from the legislature that affect local governments. And it's interesting to note that Bill Seitz actually came from local government. And from that, he has a strong heartbeat for us here in Delhi Township. So if we could have a moment, we'll get organized here, Bill, and we have a little presentation to say thank you for all you've done for Delhi and all the surrounding areas, and I know we're included in your district. All right? This is the first time I'm using the wireless, so this ought to be good.
Well, there you go.
I know. This is a proclamation, Bill.
All right. Appreciate it.
Whereas a lifelong resident of Western Hamilton County, William J. Seitz III is recognized as an accomplished litigator, having practiced law for more than 40 years in a respected Republican state legislature. And Bill earned his BA from the University of Cincinnati in 1975 and his JD from the University of Cincinnati Law School in 1978. And whereas, upon graduation from law school, Bill joined Taft, Stanius & Hollister Law Firm as an associate and became partner of the firm in 1986, a position he held until becoming of counsel in 2013, and then joined Dinsmore & Scholl in 2014. And whereas he began his public service career as a member of the Cincinnati Board of Education and the St. Antonidas Parish Education Commission, and was twice elected as a Green Township trustee, where he has also served as president of the Hamilton County Township Association. And whereas Bill served 24 years in the Ohio General Assembly, where he sponsored and introduced an extensive list of laws in the Ohio House of Representatives and the Ohio State Senate for the benefit of the citizens of Cheviot, Delhi, and Green Townships, as well as portions of Cincinnati. And whereas with a more recent appointment by Governor Mike DeWine, Bill will be continuing to serve on the Board of Tax Appeals for a term beginning March the 7th, 2025, and ending February the 8th, 2031. And whereas his most recent endeavor entering into partnership with DSD Advisors, LLC, we are looking forward to benefiting from Bill's extensive knowledge of state law and government processes to help us achieve our public policy objectives. And whereas we are delighted to have this opportunity to congratulate Bill on the occasion of his retirement, to recognize him on his very successful political career, and wish him much success in his new endeavors. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Board of Trustees of Delhi Township, Hamilton County, Ohio, do declare that today, Wednesday, April the 9th, 2025, is William J. Seitz' third day in Delhi Township.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I truly appreciate the honor, Trustee Seavey, Trustee Davis, Trustee Sturts, Fiscal Officer Luby, and distinguished members of the Delhi Township Administration. That was a very flattering proclamation. But let me just say, our family's roots were always in Delhi. If you go back in history, you'll find that the Seitz family owned a property along Rapid Run Road for really since about the 1840s. And so while I have been a Green Township resident most of my life, I certainly have always had a fondness for Delhi. And over my career, career in the General Assembly, I've worked on township issues pretty continually, and that which the Ohio Township Association wants to get done, I help them get done. I was able to change the formula by which townships get more money out of the local gas tax. I was able also to insist that when COVID money was being handed out, that they do it based on population, so that our larger townships would get their fair share of the money and it wouldn't all go to the cities. Constantly working for the best interest of our townships. Used to live on Mount Alverno for 2 years when I first got married a long time ago. I think probably right behind this building, because didn't this used to be the Kmart?
Yes, it did.
Well, there you go. So you all are great. I've enjoyed getting money for your capital projects, be that the Delhi Historical Society Greenhouse most recently, the Delhi Township Park, the Splash Park, I think, the Delhi Township Veterans Memorial over there. We always tried to help our friends in Delhi, and you've been wonderful friends and supporters of mine all these years. I will miss it, but I'm 70 years old, nothing lasts forever, and time to move on to a new chapter in my life. Well, I'm staying busy. Either keep your mind busy or you rot away. But I really appreciate it. You all have been great, and I look forward to continuing to work with you in my new capacity as a lobbyist with the Dinsmore Lobbying Affiliate and as a lawyer at Dinsmore with my good friend and partner, Mr. Pacheco. So thank you all very much.
Bill, I think Mr. Luby has a little gift here for you from Delhi Township.
Okay, sir. Well, thank you. Thank you. All right. Should I open it?
Yeah, sure.
We'll hold it. You
I'll
open it.
hold it, you.
Look at this. It's a gorgeous decanter and glasses, and that's beautiful. Thank you so much. It's very, very nice.
Well, now, the thank you goes to you, Bill, because the rundown of everything that you have done for township government during your time at the State House, I mean, you will be missed, sir.
Well, I'll keep working on our replacement, Mr. Odioso.
Yes.
Making sure that he toes the line. He's a good township guy, too.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, you and I and the trustees, we can figure something to put in this lovely decanter and celebrate.
And celebrate.
So thank you again.
Thanks, Bill.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for the pause. We do have, continuing a presentation, we're going to have Alan Marsh from the Delhi Historical Society, and he's going to talk to you about the greenhouse mission. So, Alan, you may need to bring that mic up to where you can.
Push. I can follow instructions. Push. Oh, good. I get to push buttons, too. Thank you, everybody, for having the Delhi Historical Society here. We're going to talk about the greenhouse mission. What is the greenhouse mission? Most of you know we've got the old greenhouse in our backyard. It's the Witterstatter greenhouse, built in the 1930s, probably 1938. We're working on discovering the exact date soon. The idea is to restore it and make it an educational venue where fourth grade students, Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts, and day camp attendees can learn about growing flowers as they learn about Delhi's floral heritage. Also, we will have adult classes there where we can teach them about using flowers, growing flowers to decorate their homes, their condos, and their apartments. And we'll teach them more about Delhi's heritage, including the viniculture that led to the floriculture. Secondly, it will become a museum exhibit in its own right. As you know, we've got a museum at our farmhouse at 468 Anderson Ferry Road. The greenhouse will also become a museum exhibit with a couple of weatherproof signs inside that talk about greenhouses and how important they are, not only to growing flowers, but in the Seitz family case, tomatoes and cabbage, or lettuce. Bill just told a funny story about how they went from tomatoes to lettuce. I'm not going to tell it right now. After you fill that decanter and help him empty it, ask him to tell you. Third and most important, we want to preserve this greenhouse because it is the physical embodiment of the floriculture heritage in Delhi Township. We want to preserve and honor the heritage of the flower growers and the vegetable growers of Delhi, and they using greenhouses to do that. And what is that heritage? If you look at this first photo on the right, the upper right, that's the Root and Schroer florists from Delhi. They are in the 6th Street Flower Market in the 1890s in downtown. Flower growers from across the region would bring their flowers there and sell them to retailers. So that business has been around for a long time. I love that picture, and if you see the sign in the back, it says Root and Schroer, and it says Price Hill Station F, because that was the post office of Delhi at the time. On the left, in that square photo, you see almost a dozen men on the roof of a greenhouse. They are community members. They are helping to build a greenhouse. The floral industry in Delhi became cooperative. They were competitors, but they sold different flowers. Widderstadters, Richard Widderstadter, featured carnations. He was known as the Carnation King across the country. Poinsettias, sweet peas, the Kesters were famous for their sweet peas, but they all had issues in common. Weather, of course, was part of it, managing greenhouses and retail sales. So they created a network and formalized it in the Cincinnati Flower Growers Association, and you see that 1922 photo at the bottom. And that's not just Delhi people, but most of it is. It is a regional flower growers association. 1990, 70 plus years later, it still exists. At that time, they're meeting at the Delhi Flower and Garden Center, which once graced Delhi Pike. And just last Thursday, we had one of the leaders of the Cincinnati Flower Growers Association visit our farmhouse and our greenhouse. It is an important place. So how are we going to do it? First, here's a little bit of the heritage of this greenhouse. It came from the Charles Widderstadter property and the Kruger property, which was right next door where the Farmhouse Lane condos are now. Bob Maddox, whose grandfather was Charles Widderstadter, grew up in our farmhouse, paid to have that greenhouse moved from the Widderstadter property, right next door, about 100 feet away, onto our property. And the first photo you see in the upper left, that's where they've got the foundation put in, and there's steel posts that will support it. That's like the rib cage that supports it. The rest of it is all wood and all glass. The last remaining all wood, all glass greenhouse operating in the township. On the right, you see a couple guys on the roof there. This is 1991 when it got moved and is being rebuilt. And at the bottom, you see how the greenhouse looked right after it was moved and restored. It had been used for events there. One event they had antique Valentines one February, and they left them in there overnight, and everybody learned that greenhouses are very humid, and they lost a lot of antique Valentines. We want to restore it to an event venue. This is the way it looks today, a little weather-worn, still useful. Most of the wood is still intact. Some of the glass has slipped. Some of the glass has broken. A lot of the paint needs to be replaced. Some of the putty does as well. We've had a number of greenhouse restorers look at this. They've given us a couple of quotes, and we have determined that we have to raise $100,000 to make this happen. The seeds of that have already been planted, thanks in large part to Bill Seitz. The Ohio Facilities Construction Commission has budgeted $50,000 towards the greenhouse mission. We now need to raise the remainder of that $100,000 to access that money. How are we doing it? We've already got personal commitments from private donors totaling $17,000. We invite everybody here, the township, all the members here, everybody paying attention, watching this meeting, to get involved. They can go to our website, click on the support button, and learn more about it. They can visit the farmhouse and learn more about it, and they can go into the greenhouse and see how it is now, and they can hear about the future. I will keep the township up to date on how we're doing on the fundraising. Mr. Miller has invited me to come back every month to give you a quick update, and I promise not to go as long as I have today. If anybody has any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Anyone?
No, I just think it's great, and investing into the community and the history, the rich tradition, and just listening to what you're talking about, or talking to Bill Seitz, talking about Mount Alverno and different, that's what Delhi's all about, isn't it? I mean, the families, the rich history, tradition, and I can't imagine that there'd be an issue coming up with that other, so please do come back.
We're
Yeah.
pretty optimistic about it. And any money above and beyond what it takes to restore that building will go to a permanent fund that we are creating that will go to the care and management of that greenhouse in the future. So we will make sure our budget specifically says the greenhouse care.
Your annual flower sale's coming up as well, isn't it? And I
Oh,
mean,
I'm so glad you mentioned that. Yes. May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, you can actually start ordering flowers now. Go to our website, and you can pre-order the flowers to get the best selection. And those flowers come from Bob Maddox every year. He has continued to be a great benefactor to us and just a wonderful man. As I've heard that, I think they've helped with the Floral Paradise greenhouse as well.
Oh, yes. Yes. And that's actually on the property. I believe that was Root and Shore's greenhouse.
It was, yes. We've got some photographs of the Root and Shores. We've got tons of photographs. We invite you to come and take a look.
All right. Trustee Sturts?
What's the deadline for you to raise the additional $33,000?
We want the greenhouse to be completed by March 1st of 26. 2026 is a big year for Delhi Township. It's the country's semi-quincentennial, 250th anniversary. It's the Delhi School's centennial, and it's our 50th anniversary. We're going to be hosting the Ohio Local History Alliance District 8 Convention Conference. It's a one-day thing, and I want the greenhouse to be in good shape by then. The OFCC money has to be spent by June of 26.
June of 26.
Okay. All right. Mr. Luby, you're the money man. You got any questions?
Do you have anything posted online so people know where you're at on your goal?
We can put that on our support page. That's a real good idea.
Yeah.
Just like some fundraisers show a thermometer,
Right.
maybe we'll show a growing flower.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. We'll do that.
And you are a 501.
We are, yeah, tax exempt 501c3.
All right. Any other questions?
Good luck.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Nope, good luck.
Okay.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. All right. Everyone on the right page? We're going to start with the departments. We'll begin with the fire department with an announcement of retirement. Motion, Mr. Luby.
We have a motion to accept the retirement of Captain T. Scott Vanell, effective May 2nd, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Motion approved.
We have a motion to approve the hiring of Charles D. Baker as a part-time firefighter EMT in the fire department at the rate per the collective bargaining agreement with the Delhi Firefighters Association upon successful completion of Ohio Firefighter 2, a voice stress analyzer, pre-employment physical, and drug testing, effective on April 9th, 2025.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Motion to approve the hiring of Jacob A. Gutzweiler as part-time firefighter EMT in the fire department at the rate per the collective bargaining agreement with the Delhi Firefighters Association upon successful completion of a voice stress analyzer, pre-employment physical, and drug testing, effective on April 9th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Motion approved. Do you have a department update for us, Chief?
Absolutely. First, I'd like to just say, thank you to Cap Vanell, 35 years of service. It goes without saying that he's been through a lot with this organization, see a lot of changes and updates. We really appreciate all the work that he's put in over the years. And it's one of those things where it's sad to see such a loss of expertise, and really his experience is going to be missed. As we turn the chapter, we've got two new folks coming in to replace the old, and one of those bakers has returned. It's been about 10 years since we've had a baker on the department. Charlie is the son of previous part-time firefighter Doug Baker, who's at the city. And I'd be remiss to not mention Denny Baker, George Baker, Bob Baker, Terry Baker, Denny Jr., as well as Doug in the process of all the Bakers, Kurt Baker, all his uncles, aunts, everybody's worked for the fire department. So it's been a while since we had a baker on the department, so we welcome
It's a
Charlie.
family business, Doug.
Yes, it is. It is, certainly.
Baker's. Gee.
Yeah, so township update, just a couple things. Our March incidents, 388 incidents. That brings us up to the year-to-date, 1,140. That is about a 3.8% increase. And again, we've been in the 6 to 7% increase range, so we're good to kind of slow things down a little bit, not so much with the increase. And then our year-to-date, so this first quarter, we're hitting all emergency details, an average response time of 5 minutes, 47 seconds. And like I mentioned the last time, this does include the time of the 911 call. So that is the difference that we're kind of picking up in this mix. So total response time is the time from the 911 call till the time we arrive on the scene. Another thing that I wanted to mention, just related to our operations, is we did have 3 cardiac arrests in March. That there's nothing out of the ordinary with that. It's a normal number that we would typically see between 1 and 3 a month. One thing I would like to report to the board is in early March, we did get a call for a cardiac arrest. A gentleman was discovered down, and we did not have an ambulance available in our Eastern District where the call occurred. We did not have an ambulance available in our Central District at the time that call came in. However, the lieutenant that was on duty first responded, as we expect, applied the AED, defibrillated 3 times, and I'm happy to say a month after being in Christ ICU, the gentleman is at home and recovering with his brother. It's one of those things where the amount of work and the time that's involved with resuscitation, it's big. And again, I tout the support of the board for all the enhancements that we've provided on the EMS side. This is just a good show for it. Again, in a perfect world, the ambulance that's closest to you gets dispatched, but you can imagine going from Station 30 at Rapid Run all the way to Pedretti, how much work had to occur to that point. And obviously, the police officers arrived on the scene. Typically, they beat us. This is one of those instances where we were there first, but it supported and assisted with resuscitation of this gentleman. And so much so that they got a return of a pulse on the scene. We're able to run multiple 12-lead diagnostics of his heart and transmit that to Christ Hospital before they arrived, to the fact that they activated a cath team so they were ready to go and treat his heart attack when they got there. So fantastic work for everybody that's involved. Unfortunately, there's more details that go into that would be HIPAA protected. But again, everything I'm sharing with you is public information from that regard. And it's a good way to just kind of recognize the hard work our folks do, both on police and law enforcement. In this instance, hopefully he reaches out to us and gives us the good news, and maybe we can do a presentation up here in recognition of that. But I just wanted to inform the board that did happen last month. And it does not happen frequently,
That's a
but it
great
does
thing to
happen
share.
more frequently.
Yeah, great.
Last thing I'd like to add is next week we will be attending the St. Dominic Knights of Columbus Blue Coat Award ceremony, where we'll be honoring our very own Assistant Chief, John Helms. I know this is one of those situations where it's like they like to honor a first responder. They bounce between police and fire. Without a doubt, John is very deserving of this recognition. It's one of those things where it's hard in our role you don't really seek recognition, and it's hard to see what individuals are bringing to the table, but I can tell you, John is exceptionally engaged and passionate about all the work that we're doing in the fire department for the community. You talk about his activities with CPR classes, take 10 CPR, bringing them to the community and things like that. And I think this is just a small, check in his favor, and I'm really happy for him to get this award. So that's all I have, unless you got any questions for me.
Well, John did a great job last night. He taught the Citizens Fire Academy fire extinguishers. Wow, all the different kinds, all the different uses to use and not to use. And it was wonderful. And also Eckler and Benken were there, and we had a great evening of learning more and more about fire procedures. And it's just been great. It's a great experience, so
And
thank
I'm
you.
glad you brought that up, Trustee Seavey, because that is an example of something that the township didn't have to offer. John went out and sought, funding for it. We received funding, we purchased the device, and now we're able to educate and improve our education to a demographic that normally doesn't get to experience that. So, that's just another one of many things that this man has brought to
Besides fire
us.
extinguishers, we also did auto extraction.
Oh, yeah, that's fun.
That was fun. Yeah, so we learned the, was it Jaws of Life?
Yep.
So highly recommend the next time you do this, that people pay attention and enroll.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Doug. Anything? Trustee Davis? Trustee Sturts?
No, thank
Okay.
you. Good stuff.
All right. Moving forward to Parks and Recreation, Director Suppi.
We have a motion to approve the hourly rate for event custodian Julie A. James to $16.64 per hour, effective April 10th, 2025.
So moved.
Second,
All those in favor?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Motion for the hiring of Robert Pernhagen as seasonal Parks and Recreation worker in the Parks and Recreation Department at a pay rate of $15 per hour upon successful completion of a background check and drug testing, effective on April 9th, 2025.
So moved.
second,
All those in favor?
Yes.
Motion approved. And any updates, Mr. Suppi?
Yeah, always just a couple. Just being aware of, we are still hiring with the new increase. That's one of our custodians, so that's always good. We do have one new hire, one not so. So if you're still looking for volunteers and park seasonal workers, you can call us at our phone number, 513-451-3300, or go to our website, delhi.oh.us. Always welcome to welcome on more volunteers and try to get some more seasonal help. So, and with that, we're always looking to stay ahead of schedule, but with the amounts of rain and flooding we're having, we're a little bit behind schedule on our projects. We have a couple good days here and there, but it's still so wet. It's hard to get machinery down and get stuff going. And as soon as everything starts to dry out, hopefully here in the next couple of days, looked like we had a window and it failed today again. So we'll get back going on everything and resume on the dog park project and things we're working on. So the crew is out cutting properties right now. Once again, the flat areas, everything that's able to be hit, we're weed eating, getting everything set, mulching, doing the beds. Unfortunately, we try to play, do catch up every year around this time, but we try to keep ahead, and it just instantly become behind schedule with the grass outs growing so much. So, like I said, we're still out doing everything we're doing and getting things moving. So,
Okay, all right.
any questions?
Any questions?
Nope.
Trustee Davis? Trustee Sturts?
no, thank you, good job.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Public Works, Director Rippinger?
Police Department.
I'm sorry. Oh, hi, Jeff. Chief Braun, thank you. Police Department, you have a hiring recommendation, Mr. Luby?
Motion for the hiring of Tyler B. Shaw as police officer in the police department at the second-year rate per the collective bargaining agreement with the Delhi Police Association upon successful completion of the background investigation, psychological testing, pre-employment physical, and drug testing, and accepting 50% sick time balance upon separation from his current public agency, effective on April 10th, 2025.
So moved.
Second,
All those in favor?
Yes.
Motion approved. Now, Chief Braun?
Good evening, everybody.
Tyler Shaw is currently an employee of the Sheriff's Office, Hamilton County Sheriff's Office. He's been there for several years. He's a Delhi resident, and truly his dream job is to work for our community. So we're looking forward to that. He's been down there for several years. He recently got certified, and he's actually a sergeant for the Sheriff's Office and wants to come here and police our community. So we're honored to have him, and we look forward to bringing him onto the ranks. So
Nice.
he's excited.
Good. Good hire. Thank you.
Some updates if you,
Anything, Trustee?
Can I touch on that real quick,
yes.
Chief? I just want to say, we are very fortunate right now. The last two hires, including Tyler, have been, seasoned police officers from other communities. We have neighboring communities right now that have multiple positions open. And how many applications do they have to fill those spots, Chief?
Zero.
0. So to Chief's credit and to our prior chief, our department has an amazing reputation, not just on the west side, but, in the whole county. People are coming here, not just because they're residents, but they're telling us when we interview them, we're coming here because we're talking to your officers and this is where we want to be. So, again, to Chief's credit, to his department, thank you for having a department that fosters that type of atmosphere.
Great
Starts
accolades.
at the top.
Thank you.
Teamwork. So first and foremost, obviously, thank you for the beautiful, moment of silence for my mom. I'm sure she's looking down and smiling. And I got to thank all the folks that reached out and gave us all the support that we had over the last week and a half. It's been great. So thanks everybody for that. Couple things. We've had about, I think, 4 stolen cars this week. And I will tell you that you might be shocked when I tell you this, that they were all unlocked and they all had the keys in it. So unfortunately, or fortunately or unfortunately, with the, obviously the technology we have, we are recovering them pretty fast, but we have a couple. One was up in Dayton within a couple hours, because thankfully we have their flock cameras on our system too, so we were able to see that it was up there. But it just reminding everybody, please lock your cars, don't leave the keys in it. And sometimes kids are roaming neighborhoods just to find open cars to see if they have keys in them. So and obviously they're given success when people do that for them. But a second prong of that is that when you see suspicious people in your neighborhood, please call us. I can't say that loud enough and enough, because we constantly, when we respond to somebody's house the next day, we always usually hear, oh, I saw something last night, I just didn't want to bother you. I mean, the reality is 1, they're not a bother, and 2, we need to know. And 3, we don't want you to approach them, let us do that. So please call us. So secondly, this past week, obviously, was really the first week that the park resource officer's been back in the park. And Officer Gelhar has been very active. He's issued multiple trespass orders for kids that are, obviously misbehaving, young adults misbehaving. We don't want people to disrupt our community park, and we're going to be very stern and strict about it, and if you break the law, you're going to get arrested. 2 days ago, we had 4 kids damaging a fence in the park. Cost about $4,000 to replace it. Within a short period of time, with Randy's assistance with the video and our SRO, we were able to identify all 4 of them. They're all 4 getting arrested and charged and banned from being in the park. Unfortunately, one of the juveniles came back later that day after he got arrested, and he got arrested again. So it's one of those things where, Officer Gelhar and his replacements when he's off are really working hard to make sure they're monitoring people driving correctly through the park, making sure they're parking in the spots where they need to park, and making sure they're behaving themselves. So we want voluntary compliance, but unfortunately, as we all know, that we've got to have an officer there to make sure they're doing it. So thirdly, Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation stopped by today to have lunch with our investigators to thank them for their assistance. Last summer, unfortunately, we had an elderly female, 73 years old, fell for one of the scams on her computer and gave over $41,000 to the scammer.
You know, the good news to this story is they were able to recover 35, almost 36,000 of it for her. So those are long, tedious processes, but, you know, our guys and girls do a wonderful job, and I can't take all the credit as far as the way our department operates. But, you know, please, 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 if you're not expecting an email or phone call or a text, don't respond. Just don't respond. If you have a question, call us, come see us, show it to us, and we'll be more than happy to help you through the process. So don't do that, but I know BCI is going to put a press release out, and they're going to give us a plug on there, so you should probably see that tomorrow. And last but not least, Officer Weatherly is going to be receiving an award for his work with children from FOP 69 and the HCPA during the May celebration during Police Week. It's a county-wide award, so he was selected for his work with children, and that's truly an honor.
And he's our SRO.
Yeah, he's our school resource officer, so it's truly, we nominated him. Hopefully, we were hoping he got it, but we were notified today that he is getting the award.
He got the award. That's
So,
wonderful. Congratulations.
I'll be in touch with you all, and obviously, you guys will be invited to attend the ceremony.
Perfect.
Yes, please.
But that's all I have, unless you have questions.
Trustee Davis?
I don't. I appreciate the zero tolerance in the park. It has to be. And, you know, gone are the days where you didn't have social media to where something pops and it's instantly out there. But that is one thing I think is important, not just for one officer, but actually you have a whole team here that is able to go in and kind of roll through. And it is. It's kind of like teaching, you know. In the beginning, those first few days, few weeks, you kind of put the hammer down of what the expectations are. You can always back off a little, but for now and from what you see right there, just to sit there and have 4 of them in broad daylight. And the sad part of that story is people are all around watching them do it and didn't say a word. They just went on with their day. That's unacceptable. I'm sorry. And I drove through there Sunday. I love seeing the life in the park and so many different cultures and diversity going on. It's wonderful. That's what it's for, to play, to have fun, to have your family, and to be safe. So when you see some thugs and punks like that, and much less one that decides to get arrested and then comes back after being told, it is full steam ahead on someone like that. We hate to have to, you know, be like that, but sorry, you're not going to control the narrative in the park that these people have paid for. So thank you for that. Thank you for your team, and full steam ahead on that.
Thank you for that.
Trustee Sturts?
May I ask, are they Delhi people, or are these people coming into Delhi?
Are we talking everybody or just
No, the 4.
The one with the fence?
The 4 on the fence.
They're Delhi people.
They are Delhi. Okay.
Correct.
Have we notified their schools?
I'm sure Officer Weatherly has done that for us, but I'll make sure that happens.
Let's make sure that happens. Okay, because everyone, the park officers started April 1?
Yes.
Okay, so our park officers are on patrol, and I had a concern the other day. Do we have the Polaris running up there? Because the dog park is kind of tough to get to with an automobile.
Well, actually, thanks to Ron and his team, it was just rehab, and it's ready to go. So it's yeah.
Great.
It needed some repairs, just annual repairs that we normally do to get it up and running.
So you'll see the officers on the Polaris little vehicle and checking out who's misbehaving and who's mistreating the new dog park when we get that open after the flood. So thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Randy, will you have cameras at the dog park also, yes?
Yeah, I'm in the process of getting a remote system out there. As of right now, there's no electric access, but we are working on it, yes.
Okay, yeah, because I definitely, before we open it, definitely.
It's a definite
okay,
position, yeah.
Good,
yeah.
good.
And I'm working close with Jan and the crew. We all work together. I've met with him, and we're working hard. Hopefully, it gets a message out after a little bit. You know, there's zero tolerance, and then we'll just stop doing it. We don't need that in the park at all. So, yeah. I hope it works out.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, now, Mr. Ripperger, I think it's Public Works.
It's my turn.
Your turn.
A couple minor things, nothing too major. BP Pipeline did some final restoration work on Anderson Ferry this week, and like I mentioned before, they'll be working throughout the summer in different locations, but they've had great traffic control, so they're keeping the traffic flowing, and we haven't had any phone calls on it. As far as the storms, I think Delhi did rather well. I think our phone rings off the hook when we get the torrential downpours for more than 20 minutes. And although it rained a lot, it wasn't torrential. So I don't think we got any reports of any streets backing up and stuff like that.
We did have some homes flooded, though, I understand.
Yeah,
Yes.
we didn't get many calls,
Okay.
so it's been pretty quiet. Unfortunately, the water does flow downstream, and it's rather high on the river, but I think it did probably all the rain pop all the potholes that we had all winter out. So they were back out, and I think everybody, including us, have been out filling potholes, county, city, and we're always proactive calling them in, on the outskirts of Delhi to help the residents out. Other than that, we're kind of preparing for summer. You can get asphalt now, but the local plants are still closed for a couple more weeks, so we're prepping for that, for our in-house crews to get started on some repairs.
Okay. All right.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Nothing?
Anything? All right.
Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Miller, it's your turn. Skylar Miller, Administration.
Yes, ma'am. As I said, we'd be staying on top of aggregation. It's a volatile market right now for both electric and gas, so I just want to give you a quick update. Typically, we wouldn't be worrying about gas until end of summer, into the fall. Our current aggregation program ends in October. However, due to the volatility in the market, we may be looking at AEP exercising some emergency clauses they have in their aggregation contracts that would force a renegotiation for the summer. I don't necessarily expect a significant change on the supply side, but we'll have to wait and see. There are some regulatory changes that are coming up right now where I forget the actual terminology, but it's a supply side versus distribution side riders that might be changing. It's effectively a one-to-one. You're going to see your billing, I guess where you're getting billed is going to change, but it should be a wash, all right? But I still urge everybody, be informed consumers. So keep an eye on your gas. Fortunately, we're moving into the warmer months, so hopefully people aren't using gas as much. But again, I'm telling everybody that's on aggregation or anybody that's not for that matter, keep an eye on your gas bill. We said a couple of meetings ago that we were going to punt, so to speak, on our electric aggregation due to the erratic market right now. Let me explain how erratic it is. We had authorized me, the administrator, to accept a bid when it came in if we could get it under the, essentially the Duke rate. Today, while I was at lunch, I received the Dynergy bid that came in about 10% lower than the Duke rate, okay? I had 4 hours to authorize it so that we could get it locked in. An hour after they sent it, Dynergy pulled all of their proposals because the tariffs went into a 90-day pause. So even if I had signed that, it wouldn't have been effective. They just would have pulled it. But all of their proposals that they had put in across the region with Energy Alliance were pulled. So we are now back into a holding pattern. But when I say that the market is volatile, it's to the extreme. So we're still watching it. We are not going to sign anything that is not beneficial to our residents, but yeah, we're looking for something that has a significant reduction from Duke. The roughly 10% down would have been nice, but we'll just have to wait and see. Other than that, ODNR, who has been the steward, if you will, of our state capital funding for DTS, they are now finally ready to issue our $750,000. They have a meeting coming up in May from the board. It's, everything's passed legal. We've basically passed our past the application phase. Even though this money was held for us, we still had to go through the ODNR vetting process. So everything has been vetted. We can expect our $750,000 reimbursement grant for DTS to be coming shortly after that board meeting in early May.
So the check's in the mail?
Check hasn't been cut yet, but it's getting cut. It will be in the mail soon. So
Just
it's
as a
coming.
point, on that particular $750,000, we had Bill Seitz help and assistance, and we also had George Glover. And actually now Bill is going to be working with Mr. Glover to do these things. But that's the type of communication and really the sponsorship and the belief in township government that we have had the privilege of experiencing it with Honorable Bill Seitz. So, good news.
Yep. And a little foreshadowing, we don't have a card for it at the end for community announcements, but the library is going to have an open house tomorrow night. I'll talk about it again. I'll give it another plug. But it is an open house to talk about the redevelopment of the Delhi Branch Library. That is tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. The community is welcome to attend, and it will be at the library. So if you're available and you're passionate about our library, go and check out what the current plans are.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Miller. All right. Community Development, Director Roach.
We have a motion to appoint Michael Collins to the Delhi Township Zoning Commission for a 5-year term ending December 31st, 2029.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion approved.
We have Resolution 2025-42, declaring nuisance for accumulated debris at 452 Kitty Lane, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I will introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
And is there any discussion on this resolution, Mr. Roach?
Good evening, everyone. So the next 10 resolutions, Mr. Louie is going to read all debris, so Trustee Seavey can't say your poem yet, so the next meeting maybe. There is no vegetation, all debris, and they're all still in violation today, so.
Okay. All right.
I will move-
Again, the township is not a landscaping company. We're not a, call it 1-800-JUNK. These are responsibility of the homeowners.
That's correct, yeah. It's not a free service.
It's not a free service. You will get this bill if you ever decide to leave that property.
And
You
the
will
the last resolution Mr. Louie is going to read is an assessment resolution going to the auditor's office tomorrow for a sum of about $3,500 being placed on properties.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Roach.
Move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes. Resolution passes.
Resolution 2025-43, declaring nuisance for accumulated debris at 4391 Skylark Drive, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
Just
Debris.
Debris, yep.
All right. Thank
Move to
you.
dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis? Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes. Resolution passes.
Resolution 2025-44, declaring nuisance for accumulated debris at 254 Pedretti Road, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
And discussion on this resolution?
Well, this is an interesting property. We actually have the Ohio EPA involved, Health Department, and then obviously our department. This gentleman is trying to construct a retaining wall with tires.
So far, so good.
My goodness.
Okay.
I bet no one's gone near it.
Okay. All right.
Move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading? Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis? Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2025-45, declaring nuisance for accumulated debris at 5168 Delhi Pike, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
And discussion on this resolution. This looks like debris again. Mr. Roach?
Yeah, that's right behind, like, the Wind Walk by Funky Dunks. There's a recliner, some chairs in the woods there.
Okay.
Cell tower property?
Cell tower property, that's correct.
Move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2025-46, declaring nuisance for accumulated debris at 5341 Candace Drive, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
Just pile tree
This
branches
is
there. yeah.
debris.
Yeah.
All right.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2025-47, declaring nuisance for accumulated debris at 5040 Delhi Road, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Discussion on this resolution.
So you declared this property a nuisance probably a month or so ago. Everybody thinks it's park property, but it's not park property. Randy's guys picked up all this stuff on their side, but this is actually to the business side of it.
Move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
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 Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2025-48, declaring nuisance for accumulated debris at 5319 Dell Hill Drive, declaring an emergency and dispensing with a second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr.
I
Roach?
think it speaks for itself, I believe. Just
Yeah.
Move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2025-49, declaring nuisance for accumulated debris at 5492 Delhi Pike, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
just debris in front of the gentleman's garage.
Okay.
Is it the debris or the RC machine also, or?
So we probably, we have not had a conversation with the property owner, but when I do, he'll probably call when he gets a second letter. I'm going to explain to him it's not normal for people to have a soda machine in your front yard.
He has had that there for years. I mean, honestly, you guys probably all remember passing it 30 years.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
that's amazing. Yeah, and what was it? Was it the debris that finally had him jump on the radar?
So we took an anonymous complaint for debris, and then John acted on it as well.
Does the machine
Just piling
work?
up.
I mean, I don't know what it's stocked with, but we.
There's tab in it?
It's a collector's item.
Got any moon pies to go with your RC
Move,
Cola?
move it to your garage.
Okay.
Maybe even a Fresca. I don't know.
Boy, we're old.
Move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis? Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes. Resolution passes.
Resolution 2025-50, declaring nuisance for accumulated debris at 4226 Skylark Drive, declaring emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution? This looks like somebody cleaned out the inside of their house and put the dump on the outside.
Yeah, and some of it's demolition from the old deck. You can see there's a new deck constructed in the rear yard with no well. So I think that some of the off fallings of just the old deck when they demoed it as well.
Is there a permit for the new deck?
Negative.
Move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading? Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes. Resolution passes.
Resolution 2025-51, declaring nuisance for accumulated debris at 5225 Arundel Drive, declaring an emergency and dispensing with a second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Discussion, Mr. Roach.
Not quite sure what this gentleman's doing here, but he removed all of his gutters and downspouts, so, and they're just laying in the yard, so not quite sure what's going on there. We did receive a complaint about it, so neighbor wasn't happy with the downspouts laying in the yard.
Okay.
Move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis? Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2025-52, certifying violation abatement expenses at 843 Ivy Hill Drive, 4041 Delhi Road, 4121 Delhi Road, and 4800 Delhi Road to the county auditor for assessment, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I will introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. Roach?
So like you said earlier, Trustee Seavey, this is not a free service. This is to show you that there's, $3,500 going to the county for assessment on properties in the township. And that's the last thing we want to do. Like, Chief Braun says, we all say, we want voluntary compliance. That's the last thing we want to do is, up your property taxes anymore. But if you're not going to play by the rules, then that's our last option.
Move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
No, we're done, right? Thought we did that, okay. I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution, sorry.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes, resolution passes.
Lost track.
Department update. We're waiting to hear from you.
Just a couple of quick things. It's our understanding that Dolly's will open this coming Monday, the 14th. I know Chief Campbell was there doing some final inspections, and they were hooking up some equipment that they brought in. So we're looking forward to that. They've been training all week. The parking lot's been full, so there was no soft opening or anything like that. And I've been in touch with their marketing department, and they want to wait a couple weeks to get their sea legs underneath them, and they'll reach out to us for a ribbon cutting for you all to attend. And then one other little thing, we had up by Holmes Blacktop on Cleves Warsaw, we had a little boutique come in, and they're opening, again, I think this coming week, Winning Moments Apparel and Gifts. They're by Holmes Blacktopping, Lenny's Pub, and that little strip, Miners Meats. Other than that, with that being said, with Dolly's occupying the space on Delhi Pike, our vacancy rate is at a whopping 5.9% vacancy.
What was it?
5.9% is our vacancy rate.
It's awesome. It's wonderful.
That's great. That certainly beats a lot of other townships and cities.
And you know as well as I, we were in high double digits at one time.
Right.
And that 5.9%, for those that are watching, for those on mainstream media, and that, 5.9% is awesome. It is incredible. But we are just like you. When we look at additional restaurants and retail and things, you've got to support your local businesses. You have to. And encourage others to move in. So when something's gone on and you went to one of the local businesses, you had a great experience, talk about it, tell the world. Because when other businesses are considering or discerning where they want to set up shop, they do check things like that and see how is the community supportive. But as far as the idea of more restaurants, more retail, we all want that, every one of us. So Dolly's, behind the scenes work, when everything went down with Frisch's going out, I remember the discussion that we had, get on these other people that are talking about opening up and get that filled. And so we went at it, and thank you for all those that were involved with that. And we constantly, again, we are always out there looking for other, not better, but other restaurants and retail. And again, remembering Delhi Pike is not owned by Delhi Township. We don't own the businesses. We don't own the land. We are just like you. I'd have a better chance going to McDonald's, telling them to change the special sauce on their Big Mac, about as much chance of doing that as saying who can or can't do, set up shop. But I think some in the community just don't understand that. Kind of like why we would not pass something for the land next door, because it's not our land. That's why they would put up for a vote. But we're excited because it's millions and millions over the last 3 or 4 years. If I calculate it right, if we've got this right, my friends, it's about $125, $130 million is being invested into your community because people believe in the community. That's what it's about.
And just, with the central property next door, there's going to be another $18 million invested this year alone. And, like you said, they want to be our partners. They want to be here.
That's right. That's great.
So, yeah, the best days are still ahead, but it's rolling. We got
Mr.
it
Roach,
moving.
just keep bringing us the good news.
Yep, that's right.
Let's talk about, we all wish, we all want, but let's really rally to what we have. Okay, thank you. I do not have any public comments signed in. Did anyone have anything to say? Mr. Jenkins, did you want to do anything on the egg hunt?
Looking forward to good weather.
You're looking forward to good weather. Yes, we all are. Thank you. All right. Then announcement of community events, Mr. Miller.
All right. Again, before I get into the cards, the library open house is at the library on Foley Road tomorrow night, starting at 5:30, for the discussion of plans for the redevelopment of a new Delhi branch library and the transition plan that would have to take place to make that happen, because they are planning on redeveloping that site. So if you are interested, please attend. All right. All right, community Easter egg hunt sponsored by the Delhi Skirt Game is Saturday, April 12th. The egg hunt starts at 9:30 a.m. Arrive early to get in line. Delhi Park main stage area is the place. 2 age groups will be planned, 5 and under, and then 6 to 12. Photos will be available with the Easter Bunny, and police and fire vehicles will be on display. All right, tips, grips, and preventing slips. This is a new event. It's Tuesday, April 15th, from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Delhi Senior Center at 647 Neeb Road. This is Mount St. Joe physical therapy students will be offering 30 minutes of fit of assistive devices, free assistive device cleaning, walking and balance analysis, and education and exercise recommendations. You do need to contact to schedule your visit, so please contact the physical therapy department of Mount St. Joe ahead of this event. Document Shred Day, sponsored by Kruger Law Estate Planning and Elder Law and Delhi Township Administration, is Saturday, May 3rd from 9 a.m. until noon. It's at C.O. Harrison School parking lot. That's 585 Neeb Road. Because this event is so popular, we have added a second truck to serve more residents. Be sure to arrive early. Next, the week after, Saturday, May 10th, is Cleanup Delhi Day from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. at the Delhi Senior and Community Center on Neeb Road. This event is free and open to all Delhi residents, but Delhi residents only. Proof of residency is required. Residents must be in line by 1 p.m. in order to participate. No yard waste, computer equipment, hazardous chemicals, liquids, paint, batteries, or closed drums will be accepted. Check the township's website for a complete listing of acceptable items, or contact Dan Ryan at 513-451-3300. All right. Announcing our Delhi Summer Concert Series for 2025. Concerts are held at Delhi Park Pavilion at 7 p.m. First up, June 4th is the Whammies, followed by June 18th, Cincinnati Transit Authority. Then July 23rd, the Eagles Project. August 6th, Deviate. August 20th, the Menus. September 3rd, Forever Diamond. Food and drinks are available for purchase on site. Please do not bring coolers. Delhi Event Center at Delhi Town Square, events and programs. We invite you to check out a complete listing of our youth classes, adult classes, our art gallery on the Delhi Event Center website and on Facebook page. Here are a few of the upcoming events at Delhi Town Square. First up is the Lawn Bar, open on Friday and Saturday evenings from 5 p.m. until 10 p.m. The weather forecast for this weekend is looking good, so come out and join us for drinks and good company. April wine tasting and gallery opening. This is tomorrow night, Thursday, April 10th. This is Artist Trading Cards of Cincinnati show. It's going to be held from 6 p.m. till 8:30. Sample 5 bottles of wine, then stroll through the gallery to see the newest craze in collecting and meet the artist exhibiting. Registration is required at the Delhi Event Center's website. West Side's Got Talent is Friday, April 25th from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. on the lawn at Delhi Town Square. Get ready for an unforgettable night of entertainment showcasing the incredible talents right here in our community, hosted by special guest MC Greg Procaccino. Or just come, cheer on your friends and family, and cast your vote for the best talent. Sign up on the Delhi Event Center website. And finally, we have the 2025 Health and Wellness Fair this, Saturday, May 31st, from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m., sponsored by Oak Hills Local School District and Delhi Athletic Club. Join us at the Delhi Athletic Club for a day filled with activities to boost your well-being, from fitness classes to health education classes. This event has everything you need to kickstart your journey to a healthier lifestyle. Visit Eventbrite and search 2025 Health and Wellness Fair to find a list of activities and to reserve your ticket for this free event. So it is a free event, but because we have a lot of the health and wellness trucks out of here, you do need to schedule your appointments. So get out there on Eventbrite. Again, that's 2025 Health and Wellness Fair. Search for that and get your spot.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. I do want to point out one thing, because so many residents have become accustomed to having shred day and cleanup day on the same Saturday, which for many years we experienced total nightmare. So this year, maybe we woke up and it's 2 different weekends. So don't bring your cleanup day stuff on shred day, because that's not the right day. So that is a correction that we've been wanting to do, and I'm so glad to have it happen. So the shred day is again on Saturday, May the 3rd, and your cleanup day is Saturday, May the 10th, the following Saturday, okay? So don't bring the shred on the wrong day, and don't bring your cleanup on the wrong day as well. So thank you. We do not have a reason for executive session, so I can just call for adjournment of this meeting.
With no further business to come before the board, we have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for coming this evening and listening. See you on Wednesday, April 30th. Thank you.